What is going on, everybody? We got a very rare daytime video for you. Tonight I got the first week of a Age of Sigmar slow grow starting at the local game store. We're starting at 500 points, and I think in 2 weeks it only goes up to 750. So this is a good opportunity to get to work on some of my Stormcast, and I'm trying to lock in a color scheme for them. Been trying to research like how people paint Imperial Fists for yellow Stormcast. So I've been practicing that on, you probably can't really tell, but practicing it on the Endless Spell, like just yellows and oranges and stuff through the airbrush, and just a little Corn Berserker guy here. Super fun. Haven't locked in anything I really care for yet. Certainly not something I'm going to commit to a whole army. I got quite a few guys, like almost a full starter set, plus a couple heroes of Age of Sigmar 1 painted in a kind of bone armor scheme, which looks pretty cool. But the way I did it back then was dry brushing, like a wash, and then like 3 or 4 layers of dry brushing. And I don't feel like I'm going to be learning anything if I repeat that process over and over and over again throughout a whole army. It was something I tried to do to make a simple, striking kind of paint job. And this was right when I got back into the hobby after quite a long break. And I did, other artwork before, but I was not concerned about trying to focus my art energy, or whatever you want to call it, enthusiasm, into miniatures. But I just wanted to get them painted because I wanted to just have a painted army so I could come in and play on the weekends and call it a day. Now, over the last, 4 years or 3 years or however long it's been, that's changed, and I definitely want to put all my art energy for now into miniature painting, and I'm trying to make great-looking miniatures. I'm not doing necessarily showpiece quality. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't think I might try and compete in a competition if there's a local, not local, but if there's a Golden Demon at that Texas Warhammer Citadel, I'd maybe, try to get something and go down there and participate. But for now, I just, I'm interested in having nice looking armies that get people, stopping and talking about how I did it, and we talk about art or whatever. And, if there's an event, try to win like a best painted or something like that. That's always, feels super rewarding. So, trying to lock in a yellow color scheme. I don't know if you guys have done yellow. I'm trying to avoid as well the standard like Averland Sunset, Aerial Yellow build up that you would see in GW line. I'm trying to get a little bit different because that's, I feel, what makes an army really kind of interesting, is that little shift in tone or value or color that makes people go, oh, hey, what's going on there? If you paint your Ultramarines step by step the way GW paints them on the box, or the paint they tell you, then you're going to look like everybody else's that have done that. But if you track down like a gray blue or something from Vallejo Model Color, or just a different shade of blue, maybe going in more towards the green, or more, leaning into the purple, maybe not full on purple, but what I'm trying to say is that little shift in just the blue on an Ultramarine will make yours stand out much different or much better than another player's Ultramarines who just is trying to copy like the Duncan video or whatever, Warhammer TV video. And then, so the downside of that too is when you look at like Game Air from Vallejo Game Air, there's only so many. There's a pretty small range, and there's like 3 blues, right? So there's more, but there's kind of like little triads. So if you were gonna paint your Ultramarines blue, and you went with their dark blue, medium blue, light blue in their little 3 steps that they're kind of, you'll recognize it on the rack. They'll look like they're kind of side by side. Then you look like everyone that's done it with Game Air, right? So I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, and that immediately will be different than GW, but those Game Air paints are also leaning more, they're super vibrant, and they look more like GW. So the store I go to doesn't carry model air except in some sets. But anyway, that's not the point. It's hard to find this yellow scheme that I'm picturing in my head and actually getting it on a miniature and making it look good. So that's what's rattling my brain today while I should be working. I got scale 75, ink tense yellow. I got Vallejo Mecha yellow, which kind of looks nice. And then a bunch of others. But also some yellow like inks, although I'm worried about those. I'm not sure how much I want to use those in an actual full-on armor as opposed to just some touching here and there on those inks, because I feel like inks dry different than acrylics, and they even those are liquid acrylics, I think they're closer to inks, and I feel like they could rub off, but I guess maybe after the varnish it'll be fine. So Slow Grow League tonight, I'll be playing Stormcast Eternals, and that will be 500 points. I'm thinking of going with the Knight Azeroth? No. Knight Venator, the Flying Archer, as my general. He's 120, 3 Castigators for 80, bringing me to 200. 2 units of Liberators to 300, and 3 Prosecutors, to 400, and then a unit of 3 Prosecutors to 500, or another character. This is just my 500 point list. I'm not interested at all in trying to be the best 500 point Age of Sigmar player. I just think for me personally, it'll be super fun if that guy's one-shot arrow kills the opponent's general every game, or once in a while, right? That'll be fun and funny. So around 750, then 2 weeks or 1,000, but by 1,500 I'll definitely have a wizard, and I'll upgrade the heroes a little bit. So eventually with Stormcast, I'm going to do other videos on this, but curious, this is just one of those, put it out there and hopefully you guys have some ideas. But so Stormcast, I feel like have a very strong they have a strong kind of fast charging army, hard hitters, whatever. But the two I'm leaning towards is like a global or close to mortal wound army. This would include like the Comet spell, that Scroll of the Storm, that spell that potentially hits everybody on the battlefield, the Dragon, whose Star Rain can hit anybody on the battlefield, super long range, super mortal woundy, possibly a Celestin Prime who has an AoE mortal wound, possibly the Banner guy with his once per game blast of mortal wounds with the Meteor, or the Trumpeter who has an AoE mortal wound stuff. But it's kind of a ranged mortal wound army, not just hand to hand. Something I've been bouncing around my head. I think it'd be super fun. It also will bleed out enemy heroes who are like 5 wound guys, because if you get hit with a D3 from the spell, and then the dragon targets you with his Star Rain, and you might be taking 2 D3 in a single turn, and that could be every turn. So super fun sounding as far as just weakening the enemy's army all at once, or as close to, potentially. You're kind of bleeding everything. It's like a damage over time kind of style. Instead of going like 800 points in a giant unit of evocators, casting the cogs, deep striking them with the reroll charge guy, and just charging and killing everything. That doesn't sound as interesting to me. So anyway, also double dragon could be cool, because then you get 2 Star Rains, but they're kind of expensive. But you could do one of the maybe Celestin ones, and then one of the cheaper ones to save some points. Downside with that is I really want that Taurolon Pegasus guy coming out, and he's pretty expensive too. He's like 340. The dragon's like 460. So you can't do 2 dragons in the Pegasus. You kind of got to choose. And even if you just choose the Pegasus and the dragon, you're already a lot of points in. You're like 850 points in or whatever. So it's like a choice between the dragon, the Prime, the Pegasus guy, or a second dragon, whatever. You could probably fit 2. Another list that I really am going to try and write down and go through for everybody is a minus bravery list. This never gets a good rap or review, or nobody thinks it's good. It never looks great on paper. It's never ever played. Nobody does it. And then when you're playing a game and all of a sudden you're -2 bravery and you roll a dice and 4 guys run away instead of 2 or whatever, you feel it. So I'm trying to see if there's a list there to make you feel it. This would include the Celestant Prime for when he drops in AoE bravery debuff, Decimators for their -2 bravery AoE. I think it's a spell or the prayer that gives a unit -1 bravery. Put that on Decimators. Now they're -3. There used to be the Veritant had a special lantern or something that was minus bravery. So anyway, I think this book may have something there in a minus bravery Stormcast army. Is it going to win you the magical tournament of the year or whatever? I don't know. No, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really play in tournaments. Maybe it is, right? Never mind. It's the best minus bravery army you've ever seen in your life. And I haven't made it yet, so... But I'm curious to just, I want to run the Decimators and things because I like doing my armies a little different than what you see most people play. Because not only is that interesting for me to feel like I'm pioneering or whatever, trying out some new stuff that I'm not just reading over and over and over again on the internet. Also, it probably should be fun for my opponent because, right, they probably haven't played against it. And sometimes that's interesting too because they might just not be ready for it at all, right? Nobody else is doing it. They haven't read about it either. The Global Mortal Wounds one might be somewhat common, but I'm talking about going all in on it. The thing about that, though, is the dragon's already pretty cool. The Comet endless spell for Stormcast is just bananas good. And then some of those other units, right? And that's all going to come down to points on how good that maybe actually is. But we'll see. So those are just some thoughts bouncing around my head. Let me know if you have like a good yellow recipe or yellow video you like that you found on YouTube or maybe a blog or something. I've probably watched every video already, but if you find one or know of one that maybe I haven't seen, just please link it below or tell me about it. Or maybe a yellow recipe, and then I can at least look up the colors online. I think I want to go into that kind of rusted orange to golden yellow kind of range, not the like super white yellow. I don't even know if that makes sense, but you know what I'm talking about, where the yellow has a touch more orange tone to it instead of the full on like lemon yellow, sun, like cartoon sun yellow. But I'm not sure on that, and we could always go a different route. I also think the Stormcast would look very good painted like blood angels, building up from maybe a dark brown to a red, and then doing like white helmets and white shoulder pads or something cool. White shields, white robes, red and white could be cool. My current ones are all white and red, so as I work on red and white ones, it would kind of fit until eventually maybe those guys get sold or painted over. And that's all I got for right now. So let me know about yellow. Let me know about your Stormcast. Let me know about your Age of Sigmar. If you played any fun 500-point games, I'll be doing that for a week or so. Tomorrow, I'll be running my first Savage Worlds RPG game, so I'm going to let you guys know how that goes. We'll be playing the 6 gun. So, talk to you soon.